Who's hungry? I paid Thomas Keller a high 7 figures to teach me to cook.
We're going up to that college to see my son.
I guess we're sitting through the whole cooking show before we get some answers.
Wait, say something nice about me. Like what?
Compound
Bees?
I love your show, man.
You have got to start making better choices.
Bees?
Welcome back to Compound B, a show about the boys. I'm Magnum, and I'm back here once again with the Soupdeucer to discuss cooking lessons. And no, the soup isn't giving us cooking lessons. You wish you were that lucky. This is the 6th episode of Season 2 of Gen V, a spinoff of the boys. And Soup, you probably didn't know the title going in, but you're usually there for anything called cooking lessons, right? So double bonus that it's the anti-penultimate episode of Season 2 of Gen V.
For sure, man, for sure. No, I did not know the episode title going into it. And I realized what the episode title was today, and I was like, oh, that's appropriate. And yes, would it have enticed me even more to want to watch this one had I known? Yeah, but like, it would have been on my radar, that's for sure.
Yeah, man, you tell me you get Giancarlo Esposito making some frittatas, and I think we would all be there for that. Thank you for being here for this episode of Compound B, a show about the boys. We are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. You can find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff and on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com. Nice and easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Follow, like, and please subscribe if you had fun. Please touch the thumb, and please be aware that there will be full spoilers here for all aired episodes of Gen V and The Boys. So that's every episode of Gen V, every episode of The Boys. Could also be spoilers for The Boys comics, but we'll try to give you a heads up if we're going to drop any major spoilers there. Don't anticipate doing so, but if it's coming up, we will let you know. This is Cooking Lesson, Season 2, Episode 6, the 14th overall episode of Gen V. Originally released October 8th, 2025. Directed by Catriona McKenzie, as it's the first episode of Gen V that she has directed. Written by Chelsea Great. This is her second written by credit on Gen V. One special guest star, the one and only Giancarlo Esposito as Sten Edgar. 3 guest stars, Kia King as Annabeth Moreau, Tate Fletcher as Vicor, and Jessica Clement as Harper. The episode description, as released by Vought, reads, worried about the coming culture war and apocalypse, ride it out in style and comfort, sustainable septic systems and feng shui, blast-proof and billionaire approved. The world may be burning, but you'll be 35 feet underground. I guess if you're going to be underground, 35 feet is better than 6 feet deep. And what do you think about this episode, Soup? Do you think it was better than the last one? Did it kind of meet your expectations here? You know, doing a lot of work to set up not only the 2 final episodes of this season, but the final season of The Boys. Kind of overall thoughts, first impressions of Cooking Lessons, man. Did it satisfy your hunger?
It absolutely did. You know, I mean, not so much because of the frittatas, but more because this episode was it was good front to back, dude. It moved real quick too. Like, was it 42 minutes or some shit? Like, it was short anyway, but it went by very, very quickly, and it was just, you know, gripping the entire time. So I really did like this episode. This might be one of my favorite episodes so far this season. You know, I mean, a lot happened, you know, in the amount of time that went by. It was a lot to take in, dude, you know.
Yeah, I mean, A, that's what she said. And B, I think you are right about the pacing here. You know, once again, they had to slow down a few times to have some kind of emotional moments. You know, you get Sam and Emma kind of reconciling a little bit. Obviously, we've been waiting a long time for Marie to interact with her sister. And we get teased a little bit, you know, obviously Zoe shows up, Stan Edgar shows up, and at one point he's like sitting down and you think you're going to get like answers, and he gives us some answers, but I don't think it's like a ton of stuff we didn't know or kind of infer already. So it seems like now they push the ball down the field a little bit more. Now we're going to need to talk to the man in the tube, who we assume is Thomas Godolkin, to get like the really answers here. So I'm curious to see where they go with that. The one thing I thought that they lampshaded a little bit, but do you think they escaped just a little bit too easy? You know, I know the original intention was they were supposed to be able to escape and get to Annabeth's cell, but based on Cypher's reaction, it's like the first time we see him pissed, he throws his phone and everything. I don't think they actually intended for them to escape, so I think it was probably a little bit too easy, but the fact that Sam got to do the Kool-Aid Man gag probably made it worth it for me overall, because I have to admit it was probably kind of, you know, a little bit lowbrow humor, but I absolutely loved it.
You fucking Kool-Aid Man that wall.
Oh yeah.
It was awesome, man.
Yeah,
Definitely very
it
cool
was a
scene.
live action version of that, right? We've seen like Family Guy do that gag, but I don't know if I've ever seen it really in like live action.
Right. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I don't think I have either, man.
Roger Rabbit, maybe, right? When he comes through the brick wall, but again, that's animated.
I don't know if we can call that live action. Yeah, well, it's
It was
50-50,
mixed
but
action, but yes, I mean,
40.
Roger was he was animated there, but very cool moment, dude. I just like Kool-Aid Manning is a verb. I just really appreciate that. I wish someone would get into that a little bit more. Overall, it was kind of fun. I think when we saw the preview and you heard Annabeth being like, "Oh, someone's coming" or "He's coming," I think we all thought that was Cypher. But once she looked at the wall and no one was there, and then it kind of the way she started backing away, I'm like, "Oh shit, I bet you that's Sam." But I didn't even think about it. I thought for a minute he was going to like drive because we usually see right they drive the truck through the wall. So I like kind of the reversal of that. He bursts through the wall and he's like, "Oh, I also have a truck, but I don't know how to drive it." So I actually thought that
Yeah.
was kind of a fun little bit. And, again, they probably escaped too easy, but since it was so fun, I'll let it slide.
They did escape really easy, and you're probably right. They probably weren't supposed to escape from the, from the actual.
Right. They weren't supposed to make it that far.
But yeah, I mean, obviously, some of the, the first half of that shit was definitely set up. I do think it's still kind of crazy that nobody really followed him. Maybe there was.
Oh, it gets even worse because they were very like, oh yeah, we need to ditch this truck. And you actually look when they leave the library later on, like they never actually even ditch the truck. It's just sitting right outside the library. I mean, I love the gang. Same kind of thing on the bus. They do a good job. You got to have a couple kind of emotional conversations here between Annabeth and Marie, between Sam and Emma, but they cut that up with some humor. Everything about them just randomly going to Canada was great, especially when they all start just giving their own ideas. Like, can you swim? Like, just trying to figure out how they're randomly going to cross the border. That cracked me up a little bit. I thought it was a nice job of kind of using that humor to undercut like the super seriousness of like, oh yeah, Marie just resurrected someone from the dead.
Right.
So I thought that was just a nice job done there. They kind of set it up. Sam has to throw out his phone, so then you're going to get the whole thing, in the library where they don't have a phone, which is kind of that gag. I have to say, we've been waiting to meet Annabeth forever. It obviously seems like there's going to be more to her character. She has powers. She's a precog. She might be able to see the future. There's a lot to that. But do you think they hammered it home a little bit too much as far as her being mad at Marie? I mean, she makes it sound like every time Marie shows up, it's the worst thing. And you get that, right? I mean, Marie definitely has had some, bad stuff happen to Annabeth because of that, starting with their parents and now her being kidnapped. But it just feels like, man, like, you can't cut your sister a break. Like, I did feel like, I think by the end they do kind of reconcile a little bit more. But for a bit, I was kind of like, Annabeth, like, take it a little bit easy on her. Like, she did just kind of like bring you back from the dead.
Yeah, yeah. I also feel like this is years of pent up fucking. What would I do if I ever see this person again? What am I going to say?
Right, on both sides, probably. Yeah,
Right. Yeah,
like
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I've only really ever thought of it from Marie's side, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Because I never, I guess as a kid, Annabeth losing her parents and blaming Marie. I guess because half the show has been all about these kids forgiving themselves for all the crazy shit they did with their powers. So I guess I didn't really kind of think about it, in the context of, Annabeth having to forgive Marie like that, even though they kind of went out of their way to be like, oh yeah, she doesn't want to talk to you. She doesn't want to talk to you. So I thought that was all kind of, fine. Did you ever think they were actually going to make it to Canada?
No, I didn't think they were going to go to Canada, man. I mean, it's a good idea, but it
Yeah,
would have to
it's
be a
a
whole. It would almost have to be a whole different show, kind of, if they were to do. Maybe that's how it ends. The season ends and they're in Canada, then.
doing some Canadian bacon or whatever, just going
Uh,
up there having some fun with it.
but I feel like that's not, I mean, in a universe with super soups like this, man. You go to another country, it's like jurisdiction ain't going to really matter that much, man. One of these dudes can probably come find you. I think it's about right, man. I think it's about right, and I like Sam's involvement here. I think I like to see more of him as a good character as opposed to like the unhinged, very questionable, not sure what it,
The
unpredictable
puppet
fucking,
master.
yeah, which is very cool also when you're talking about anything in puppet world, it's usually pretty cool, but things are going to get a little bit dark and crazy at that point when we're dealing with him, and if he gets into puppet mode, so yeah, I like his development right here, his character, the way it's
Yeah, it's
going.
definitely the most adult he seemed, right? It seems like he's at
Yeah.
least kind of like had at least a little bit of self-actualization or whatever. Of course, they set up the bit when she's looking at the computer, like right away looks over her shoulder. And hey, I hate that. Nothing worse when you're trying to do something. I hate people looking over my shoulder. Personal pet peeve. But he immediately spots the Greg dude, right? Like we know that's
Yeah.
something's going to come of that, right? Like they're definitely going to be a little face-off or something like that. Very curious to see where they go with that one. In Soup is someone of a certain age. Did you relate to Emma's bit there with the phone, trying to remember a phone number? I know some phone numbers. I don't know a lot of cell phone numbers. I would say the majority of numbers I know are still like house phone numbers or business numbers, but I do know a couple of cell phones. Could you pull that off if you had to? Could you at least know a couple of people? I'm sure you could call your restaurant, right?
Actually, no, I don't think I could, man.
You don't know
I
the number for your restaurant?
Not in my head. I mean, I think I got the first three numbers right, but
I just figured you'd have to give it
uh,
to someone like, on the phone when you're doing orders or something sometime. I just,
I have all that shit, dude. I mean,
yes.
it's like a one-time thing, dude.
Oh, it's funny. It's the one I figured you knew. I'm trying to, remember. Like I'm back in the day, I remember numbers for pizza places. I remember like parents' houses, phone numbers. You know what I mean? But I don't know
I
everyone's cell
remember
phone
my
number
phone
now.
number. Yeah, I remember my phone number from when I was a kid growing up when we had the phone at the house. I remember that number, and I have like two. There's probably like two or three contacts right now in my phone that I could probably that I know their number. Wouldn't have to like get in my phone to look to get it. Everything, dude. You don't remember numbers anymore. You don't need to, man. Don't carry it around a black book anymore either. It's all just in your. You used to call it the
Right?
black
Yeah. No. You need to. I
sheet.
guess I should be backing my contacts up a little bit more. Is probably the moral of the story.
You lose all the contacts, man. Yeah, you're kind of fucked, man. So
Yeah,
yeah.
like I think they get backed up into the cloud, but that's I should probably get on that and check it out. So overall, I think the library stuff was kind of interesting. Kate does not get a lot to do in this episode, but you do kind of get the scenes of her observing Marie and Annabeth talking. So I don't know if that's just the way of her like gaining sympathy, or if they're going to pay that off a little bit down the road, or if it was just the payoff at the end of the episode where she kind of approaches Marie to ask her to help her fix her powers. So we'll kind of get to that when we start maybe speculating about how that'll turn off. I think the big thing at the library here, what was right, was the Vicor fight. Like that was fun. They've teased the thing. Annabeth's power, like, oh, get out of the way. I thought his entrance was awesome, right? Kind of throwing the hammer, bursting through the doors. We've been kind of waiting to see this big dude let it rip, And RIP, welcome to the departed. Vicor, won't see him no more. Do you think it was a fitting way for him to go out?
Yeah. And it was a good scene too, man. I mean, it was definitely it was probably it's right there with the beginning escape scene as far as intensity with action and whatnot, with this episode anyway. So I think those were the two main like action scenes, in the
Yeah,
episode. And it
yeah.
was
There's not
done
a lot
very
of
well,
set
dude.
pieces. Yeah.
It was definitely super cool, man.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing that I never really am straight on is like how powerful Sam is, because it seemed like in season one, right, like, oh, like he's way more powerful than Golden Boy. And here, like Vicor is kind of handling him, like he's not like beating him to death or anything, but you feel like Sam should be able to handle him easier. Or was Vicor like maybe more powerful than we give him credit for? Maybe.
I mean, he's definitely way bigger and beefed up, dude, I mean, but that doesn't really matter when you have superpowers, because
Right, it's not like Superman looks like like The Rock or something. Even generally,
right, yeah.
he's usually toned, but he's not generally like jacked all to hell. I
So
I
now
mean,
if
I
it
guess
was if it
that's.
was that fight with those two people in like this universe, man, I would probably bet on I'd probably have to bet on Vicor, man, I mean, just like
Well,
no
he's got the
superpowers
training,
over.
right? I guess that's the thing. Like Sam, he's very powerful, but it doesn't strike me like he's ever really like learned anything about using his powers, right? Like he's the kind of dude Cypher would hate because he's just so powerful. He's able to coast. Like he doesn't have any technique or anything. He's just like raw power, right? He doesn't really have anything out. It's like a pitcher who can throw 100 miles an hour but has no idea where to aim it. Whereas
Fucking
Vicor
wild
definitely
thing,
seems
dude.
like
Yeah.
yeah, he's Ricky Vaughn, dude. He's the Ricky Vaughn of superheroes. I feel like that's a pretty. He was even
I like
kind of
that.
rocking the wife beater and then the chain and everything. Like he had a little Rick Vaughn going on there. So I think that was quite good. And as soon as we saw Zoe, dude, I knew she was gonna get the kill because I originally thought I'm like, all right, so we're gonna see Marie do it, right? She's gonna pop him, levitate him, do something with her blood powers because now theoretically should be a pretty easy kill for Marie. Dude, it was a pretty easy kill for Zoe, but I was pretty graphic, right? Like that looked very good with the tentacles going in through the eyes, and I didn't think she was gonna like basically like pop his head like that. I thought that was really cool. Like I guess maybe like mother like daughter, right? She's a head popper too, just in a different way.
Yeah, a little bit, man. That definitely showed it right there. That was yeah, that was a very cool kill scene, man. One of the best cool kill scenes that we've seen in a hot minute. Definitely this season, I'm pretty sure. I don't know if I can find a better one yet this season,
I
man.
don't
But
think that I like that better than Newman's death, to be honest with you. You know what I mean? Because that was more CGI with, but kind of Butcher just using the tentacles from far away. I like this because it was closer, way more visceral, right? Like you see her just get soaked in blood, and she's so
yeah,
nonchalant about it. That was my favorite part. Like no big
yeah,
deal,
yeah.
just drenched in blood. Like when Stan Edgar shows up, she's like, "Oh, I found her!" Like she's so
Yeah,
happy
she's
and
all like
excited.
happy and shit about it. Like bubbly. She's fucking bubbly, dude, you
Yeah,
know.
like a little kid, like you usually get to go for a bike ride or go to the playground or go see a pony or something. Like this is what her version of like a day at the park or whatever it felt like.
Right. Right. Yeah, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, dude, great kill, dude. I think probably easily the best one of the season. One of the best probably in the run of Gen V. Good stuff with Stan Edgar too. We'll save the bunker stuff for the end a little bit. Let's circle around to polarity here. For the most part, like we haven't ever seen him really lose control, right? When he throws the phone and gets pissed off at the dude, then later on makes polarity start hitting himself. These are really the first instances of him kind of losing control, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I also wonder if like him fucking smacking the shit out of what might be Godalkin there, kind of like was him training for because you haven't seen him do that, and that's exactly what he was doing to Polarity, kind of,
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean,
I don't
maybe
know if
that's
that
just his
ties in or
move.
not, but
He's like the dude. Who was it? The dude in Street Fighter? Oh, E Honda with the fast hands. Maybe that's just his power move. Is just the fast hands there. But at the end of the day, right? Like he was really like. We'll just assume it's Godolkin. Maybe it is someone else, and they'll twist us. But he's doing all that, and then he goes back to like exercising his legs, right? So they either he either has leverage or they need each other or something, right? Because otherwise, you get the feeling like he hates this dude, right? That's the impression I'm getting. We're kind of unsure in the previous episode what the motivation is, and it's obviously some sort of deal or bargain, right? Which is how he has the knowledge and the power that he does, I'm assuming.
yeah, there's something there, man, for sure, dude. I mean, there's definitely it's definitely way more complex, man. There's some deeper shit going on there. No, no doubt about it. Like, hopefully we can find out what that is. Now, I mean, if we have to go into another season of this or like end the season without knowing, I'm gonna be upset.
I don't even think early prediction. I'm saying the beginning of the next episode, it'll start with a flashback, which will basically explain how Cypher and Godolkin came together. Whatever happened in those moments after the first scenes of the first episode of the season where we saw him fail to hit that fire alarm. Something happened in between them that, Cypher now has his knowledge and he's in this tube. So I think we're going to find that out. I don't think they can really hold off on that one for very long. I'm pretty sure that's where Marie's going. So I think we'll find that out sooner than later. I liked all the stuff with Cypher and Polarity. I thought this was a nice matchup here. Very kind of cool opening shot. Polarity wakes up and just kind of sees Cypher sitting there. He gets the great line about the Waffle House fight. But maybe Nostalgia, he's a bullshitter, right? So because anybody who's ever seen a fight at a Waffle House knows there's always blood or ketchup, one way or the other, one of the two, all over the place. No blood or ketchup there. So that was not a Waffle House fight.
I haven't seen coffee either, really.
Oh yeah, to have hot coffee especially. That's where the
Yeah.
burns come from. I mean, maybe that's who it is in the tube. It's not Godolkin. It's just some poor Waffle House short order cook who got the wrong end of the fresh coffee at the end of the night there. I thought it was a nice bit, when obviously you get Cypher puppeteering him to do the phone call and everything. But then then Polarity manages to break through at the end there and kind of overcome his control and knock him out the window. Again, no blood. He gets away. How do you think that happened? Is this going to be one of those things where it's like, the typical, like, oh, his willpower was so strong? Or do you think it's more technical than that? Like maybe there is like a limit to Cypher's powers, or, maybe Polarity's just going full out, like, willing to like stroke out like Andre did and die to like get a big power burst or something? Any thoughts on how he actually managed to do that?
Could have been either of the above, dude. I was wondering the same thing, really, man. I think he just kind of like, so how like if you get your Schwartz twisted, man, because they were like caught up, like battling each other with the invisible shit or whatever the fuck, man. Schwartz was twisted, and he ended up fucking, kicking off, dude.
Well, yeah, he got raspberried a little bit, right? I think he might have got jammed at the end there, to be honest with you. Got the straight up the Lone Star. But the way he's looking at his hand when he's trying to control Polarity, I got the feeling like this was new to him. You know what I mean? Like every guy, oh yeah, that's never happened to me before. But that was definitely the impression I was getting from Polarity right there. Like he's like, do I need a little blue pill or something? Like what's going on here? Like I think he was surprised about that.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't
I
think
think they
it's a
both
regular
were.
thing. So curious as to see where they go with that. And his kind of carrot he gives to Polarity instead of the stick is the idea that Marie could heal him. He says he tried to heal Andre. Do you believe him here? Do you think he really actually tried to heal Andre and that he has any interest in getting Marie to help heal him?
Yeah, yeah. I think maybe. Um, he might just. I don't know. He might just be saying that shit to get to piss him off. But I don't see why that would. I don't. Yeah, I don't see that necessary. So I think it is. I think he did. Try to. I think he is on trying to like do that because he is a scientist.
Right. And I mean, honestly, as weird as it is, he probably didn't care about Polarity before, but now if Polarity is powerful enough to resist him, like now maybe he's like, Polarity's in now, right? Because that's his whole thing. He's just going to cull the herd, eliminate 75% of the soups to make the other 25% stronger. That's kind of his whole deal. They say it like it's new information, but I thought we kind of had assumed something like that already, right? I mean, I wasn't really surprised when he said that, right? I mean, put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what his whole deal is. I did like the little bit on the phone call. It's the only scene we get from Harper. She just stutters. It's always that weird thing when you're talking to someone older. And she's like, "Oh, hi, Professor Mister Polarity." I just like that. That just sounds cool, Professor Mister Polarity. Like that
Yeah.
sounds like it would be a good name for like a real funky rapper or something like that. Not too much to dig into with the Marie and Jordan stuff. I mean, I think the main point Jordan makes right up front is that things can never be the same again. And Marie kind of insists, like, oh no, like if we want them to be the same, they can be the same. They do the little hug, and then Jordan does the classic thing when someone's in the hug and they're not sure, they kind of open their eyes and give that like little pensive stare. You think, everything's a-okie dokie with them, or do you think, Jordan has a point here and things will legitimately just never be the same again, including between those two?
Yeah, I don't think it'll ever be the same again. It might be okay, but this will always be there. And, so
Yeah, I mean
it,
the whole resurrection thing is hard to get around, right? I mean we haven't even really talked about it that much because there really is no context for that. Like once you cross that line, all bets are off. So now, Marie theoretically right now we don't even know what the hell the limits to her powers are. Like she can do almost anything right now theoretically.
starting to seem like that. Yeah, man.
Well, I mean, maybe that's what it takes to top Homelander. I related to Marie maybe more in this minute than ever before. When she's laying there, Jordan in bed, she's kind of like, "All right."
Maybe this will all make sense in the morning.
I mean, how many times have you told that yourself that in your life? I don't know, 500.
It might have been more than two or three times this week, dude.
A lot of times that's it, right? Like you're just like, you know what? I'm sure by tomorrow morning somehow magically, throughout my sleep, this is all going to make sense. So far, some way, somehow, it'll all be better in the morning. And usually after I get my coffee, that's when things really start to improve. How about Annabeth? Kind of talked a little bit about her interactions with Marie here. They obviously do some stuff where I think they're setting up her to be sympathetic to us and then her to kind of gain sympathy with Marie. They have the bit where Marie helps her with the asthma attack. She has a conversation with Zoe about what it's like to have a big sister. Kind of makes her think back about to the good time she had with Marie before their parents died. But there is the whole bit, and Marie, calls her out. She is a soup. She has V in her blood. She says she can kind of sense things before they happen. She sees a picture. It's not always accurate. She's got to be pretty powerful, right? Because no one even knows that she's a soup theoretically. You know what I mean? She had, I don't want to say like the virgin birth, but her parents couldn't give birth before. All of a sudden they went for these in vitro fertilization treatments to have Marie, and then they had her. Like, I would be kind of disappointed if she's going to be kind of like a low level soup, right? I mean, you think about it, if she can kind of see the future coming from this background, would it really shock you if she's going to end up being like incredibly powerful?
No, absolutely not. Matter of fact, I expect her to be, dude. You know, if this story keeps progressing, which I hope it does, then I feel like she's going to be a major player going forward, man. I think there's just a lot of shit she doesn't know that she can kind of like with Marie figure it out, and now you're going to be that much more next level, So
I mean, do you think they would like give her like let her really get more control of this power? Because I mean, once you open the door to someone being able to see the future, it's kind of like the super soup thing, right? Like, or the super smart person thing, like Sage. Like, you can do almost anything then. So it worries me a little bit. Like, I don't want this show to be about like, trying to fight the future that someone sees or something. But if they use it right, I think it could be really cool.
depends on how deep into the future you go, man. If it's the next 30 seconds to 5 minutes or whatever, I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah, I agree with
Kind
you
of like,
there.
and
Yeah.
then you have to reel it in or whatever. You can only cast out so far. Or
Right. The
whatever,
further you get
maybe.
out, the less accurate it is, something like that. But I guess
Yeah.
it does, like, we're wondering how you could counter Sage. She's supposed to be the smartest person in the world and seems to be like 10 steps ahead of everybody. But if somebody can actually see at least 5 steps ahead, maybe that's a way to counter that, right? So I feel like she's got to have a big role going forward, and that she is going to have to also, learn to control her powers. And I'm guessing we'll also find more about her background here. My one question is, like, she seems to imply now that everyone is going to know that she's a soup, but it seemed like nobody knew before. I don't think they knew when they kidnapped her. Like, unless they blood tested her, do you really think that anybody outside of Marie in the group actually knows that she's a soup?
I think it's totally possible that no, she probably could maintain that, anonymity or
Right,
whatever.
unless they tested her when they kidnapped her, but if they didn't
Yeah,
have reason to, why would they?
right.
Especially if she's not like exhibiting any powers. Why would they assume that? And so I think that's something else too, because that was her big deal. Like, everyone's going to know. And I don't know if everyone actually knows. So we'll
But
stay
you know what,
tuned.
man? If I'm Cypher, dude, I would definitely test to see if she had V in
You
her
would
system,
think
knowing
so.
that this is Marie's sister. Why even if I didn't know about it, which you maybe already did anyway.
See, I think that's what somehow, yeah, I don't know what it is, but it feels like that's the like her birth, I think, is going to wind up being like a big, like, someone's going to put two and two together. I think we're definitely going to kind of discover how it is that she actually more or less came to be conceived. So we can speculate a little bit more when we get to predictions, but for the most part, I'm interested. I think they played it right. They built up the character a lot, so I think they've mostly paid it off here. I don't think there's any chance she's gonna like do a heel turn, right? I thought at one point maybe it would possible she could be in cahoots, with Cypher, with Vault, with something like that. At this point, I don't think so. You agree there? Like, she's who she appears to be.
Yeah, yeah, I'm pretty sure about that one.
Yeah, I mean, shows like this, they can always kind of try to do a little bit of a rug pull here, but I don't really kind of expect that here. And Soup, you're not really you never watched the Breaking Bad or the Better Call Saul, right?
No, I haven't yet.
Okay, so you're not as familiar. Like, those are probably the most famous roles for Giancarlo Esposito, and there are a couple of references here. The one line where Annabeth talks to Marie about being the danger, that is almost assuredly a direct callback from Breaking Bad. And also in Breaking Bad, he ran a restaurant, Los Pollos Hermanos, the T-shirt I'm wearing if you're watching on YouTube, and he would
Oh,
famously
okay.
sometimes work in the kitchen, work the fryers himself, and everything. So having him in the kitchen, I'm pretty sure is kind of a call out. Nice timing, right? It is a thing now. You hear about all these billionaires building these crazy bunkers. I like that. Stan Edgar's like, I did that shit before it was cool.
Right, yeah.
He's a trendsetter there, dude. And we hadn't seen Stan Edgar since that episode where they were on the farm in season 4 of The Boys with all the beat up animals. So always good to see him back here. A little callback here in that episode when the boys got him out of jail and he has to sit in their van. He's kind of disgusting. He's like, "Oh, can I get a towel to sit on?" And here, when they all get into his bunker, he kind of offers them clothes and showers. He's like, "You all must be sick of smelling like that." You know what I mean? He's just that dude. He is just such a like a certain air about him. I think it's just so perfectly done. Soup, we do get to see a little bit of kitchen action here. You know, we're not on the Bear Brigade talking about the bear, but he talks about getting almost high seven figures cooking lessons from Thomas Keller. If you could get personal cooking lessons from Thomas Keller, would it be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars?
If you have that much money and really want to do it, yeah, but if it's if it's something you're never going to use or anything, then you'd really want to have seven figures easily to get rid of, or whatever the fuck.
Right, there's for 50K, there's probably a pretty good local chef that can help you out a little bit with your. I mean, I think we got to see him do a little bit of whisking and do like the one-handed egg crack. Did he pass those tests at least? Did that look pretty decent?
Yeah. Although he failed on the handing off the project of dicing a tomato.
Yeah, Jordan, not much dice game there for Jordan.
No. I mutilated that thing, man.
Cool looking kitchen too, though, right? I was impressed with the kitchen. It looked like a cool one. If I walked in someone's house, I would certainly be impressed by that. We do get a few answers here, but again, it's all kind of stuff I think we knew. Odessa was Thomas Godolkin's brainchild back in the 60s. He was trying to create god tier superheroes, and apparently only Marie and Homelander have survived. Homelander back in the 80s, because apparently they had the project was on after Marie was born. I keep wanting to call him Gus because we were talking about Breaking Bad, but then Stan Edgar shuttered it. But the whole idea is Cypher, Stan thought he was trying to build on Godolkin's work, but it seems more likely that he's getting the work directly from Godolkin. Godolkin's idea was they wanted to control Soups, and we see Cypher doing exactly that. He is controlling Soups, but the difference between the two is where Godolkin wanted to control Soups, it seems for, kind of the sake of humanity here. Cypher just wants soup supremacy, so he just wants like all of the best of the soups. Like he's willing to lose 75% of the soups if the 25% can kind of rise up here. What do you think the deal kind of is between Cypher and assume it's Godolkin in the tube? Do you think they made some sort of deal in like to extend Godolkin's life here? Or do you think it's somehow kind of more complex than that? Is it just as simple as it seems? You keep me alive, I'll tell you about the stuff, or do you think it's going to wind up being deeper than that?
It could be that, or it could be that Godolkin's actually a prisoner, man, and is being forced by fucking Cypher for all the shit against his will. Because he does not look happy. He does not look fucking happy, dude.
Well, neither of them do, and sometimes that's the mark of a good deal where both parties get what they need, but neither is absolutely thrilled with it because they're not really winning. You know what I mean? That is a fair deal. Like everyone could live with it, but no one side is like ecstatic with the outcome in general. I mean, Stan Edgar gets real excited here. I mean, because his whole deal is you got to top Homelander. He wants to get back in control of Vought, and he thinks Godolkin has the technology to do it. I mean, do you think Cypher is that strong? Is that strong? Like we have to assume, I guess, that his ability to control the soups comes somehow from what he learned or got from Godolkin. Like, do you think Cypher could actually puppet Homelander if it came to it? I mean, he could, you know what I mean? He lost control of polarity, but until that point, it seems like he was, maybe not. Jordan made it sound like he was really working to do it, but it didn't seem that difficult to control everybody.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would depend on the strength of the soup you're trying to control and their ability to be able to resist it.
Right, and that's one with Homelander where it seems like, physically he's extremely strong, but mentally, I don't know if he's that strong at all.
Yeah.
So you kind of wonder, like, what the prevailing strength would be. And Stan shows those files to Marie, and everything in it we've actually seen. They show kind of the sonic weapon, which we saw used in season 1 of Gen V. We saw the collars they've been wearing at Elmira, and then we actually get the thing with the halothane, which is the gas they were using to control or to knock out Soldier Boy back in season 3. So it's kind of a nice job of tying everything in here. And then kind of at the very end of the episode, did you kind of know what Marie was going to do there when she goes? She kind of looks in on Annabeth. Did you get the idea that she was kind of going to go do the hero thing and walk off on her own into the night?
I don't like it though, really, man. Because where's she going? What's she going to do?
Well, she's going to see Godolkin. I'm pretty sure that's where she's going. I like the twist though of Kate coming with her because I think that gives her a chance if she can fix Kate's powers. Yeah, she is right then. Like theoretically, like that should be somewhat useful against Cypher. Maybe. I mean, maybe she can even make her more powerful, right? That's the thing you start getting into with Marie now. Like, what are the limits? Like, what if she could, take Kate, make her 5 times as powerful as she was before? I think that kind of stuff is on the table until we know otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, it could. It, I don't know, but how do you fix power? Like you might be able to like rebuild blood or whatever, and
I mean, maybe she can
heal
just rip
wounds
the
and
V out of
shit. But
blood, right? Is it that simple? Can she just unmake Soups now? Like, can
ooh,
she just go
maybe
to
she could
Homelander,
rip
just
the
rip
V
the
out
damn
of
V out
blood.
of his
That'd be
blood?
interesting. Wow, yeah.
Because like we saw, like Soldier Boy was able. That's kind of his thing, in season 3. Whatever the Russians did to him, so he could kind of like explode, and it would explode, but it would also the soups that didn't kill. It would take away their powers. That's what made Kamiko human for the bit there, and at Herogasm, there were a bunch of soups in the aftermath there after he went kablooey that lost their powers. So there is a little bit of precedent for that. So I'm very curious as to kind of where they go with that at the end there. Do you think Marie like was doing the classic thing, like she doesn't tell Kate no, but she doesn't tell her yes, and kind of leaves it up to Kate if she's going to follow, or like, cause I read a review or something, someone's like, and Marie said like no, she won't fix her powers. I'm like, she never actually said no, right? She just did the thing. Like, I think it's like, the hero thing at the end, like, all right, if you want to come with me, but I ain't gonna beg you or tell you or whatever.
Yeah, it seemed like it, man. She didn't stop her.
Right. It's like a very 80s movie kind of trope, right? Like that's kind of how it, I don't know, like that felt very familiar to me. So I just kind of assumed that's kind of
Oh, for
the
sure, yeah.
what was going on there. And just a couple of little minor notes here. I know these people are soups. I don't know why this bothered me, or maybe they were trying to make a point. But when they're in the library and Sam gets all the food, Sam's that dude, right? There's always like one dude in your friend group or one person. They're always hungry. They're always, well, what are we eating? What are we doing for food?
Yeah.
That's Sam in this case. But then if you watch when he gives Emma some chips, it takes her a good 15 seconds of struggling with that bag to open a bag of chips. Like, I mean, even a low level soup, right? I mean, are these soup proof chip bags or something like that? I
Might
mean, come
be, man.
on.
Sometimes you gotta let those hard to reach chips go, dude.
Yeah, I'm right. I mean, that's a different, yes. I mean, that's more of a Clerks reference. But really, for chip
It is.
bags, for me, the problem is it's too easy to open. Once you open them, they rip apart almost.
You gotta be
It's the
careful. If
exact
you go too hard
opposite.
on them, dude, and you blow the whole thing up and chips go everywhere,
Yeah,
then
that's what I'm saying,
you
dude.
lose all your chips, dude. So gotta find the happy medium, dude. Just enough torque.
And we've talked about kind of with the soundtrack before that Gen V tends to trend a little bit younger, and in the opening episode they use some older tracks, and I think here they did a nice little job here. They went kind of for a full around callback, and it's funny because when Sam was hanging out in the bunker and he's got the chain, the wife beater, like the butt cut, haircut, and everything like that, I was getting kind of like 80s movie villain vibes off him. And the only real track we get here is a cover of "Don't You Forget About Me," famously used in The Breakfast Club by Simple Minds there. So I thought that was kind of a nice way of bringing a little bit of that kind of throwback, late high school, early college kind of feel to it. So
Yeah,
not much of
man.
the soundtrack in this one, but I thought that was an interesting choice and it worked pretty well.
I fucking loved it. And it was almost like a little mini montage when it was going on, dude. And it was a really cool cover. I got to find out who it is that's actually covering this because they did a
Oh,
stellar
it's
job.
a very, very cool name. Zoe Fox and the Rocket Clocks. That's a lot of ox in there, but a nice callback too because we got a Zoe in the soundtrack and a Zoe in the show. So it's a
Yeah.
Zoe kind of evening.
Well done, dude. Right.
All right, so I think that about does it for kind of the episode discussion here. Let's get into the award tour. We're going to talk about some of our favorite stuff from the episode. We're going to start out with a fun bit we like to do when we talk about television shows, and that's coming up with alternate titles for the episode. I have to say, in this case, cooking lessons, it's not like perfect chef's kiss, no notes, but I think it is really excellent. If we were going to have a fun one, sometimes you just like to throw them out there. I don't know if they'd ever use it, but Pink Little Dumpster Baby would at least make me a little bit interested. And it would feel like a little bit of a callback to Sunny when the gang finds a dumpster baby. So that part of me would have liked it. Came up with a couple options here. Again, I think Cooking Lessons is pretty solid, but we tried out Making Better Choices, Who's Hungry, Soup Supremacy, You Are the Danger, and Just Your Average Miracle. Any of those do anything for you, Soup?
Um,
Soup Supremacy just sounds cool. I kind of
it
like,
does.
Cooking Lessons. Who's Hungry? Like, I kind of like that too. Like, Cooking Lessons is probably better, but Who's hungry works better on a t-shirt.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure, depending on the graphic, you know. I don't know, man. I mean, they're all pretty solid, dude. It'd be hard for me to pay because I kind of like what it is already, you know. Um,
Yeah, we're committed to the bit, but this is a case where I would again, I like this one a lot. I think it ties in nicely.
for sure.
So whatever. Good job, show. Like sometimes, especially with the boys, their episode titles are usually just referencing stuff from the comics, and here they've got to tie them in a little bit closer to the actual content of the episode. So I think
I
for
mean,
the
Hey
most part,
Kool-Aid might have been okay, you know.
I mean, just oh yeah,
Oh yeah, might have been good too.
oh
Yeah, shit.
yeah.
Yep, there you
Yeah, that's
go.
probably it's a good fun one at least. I don't know if they would actually do it, but I like that. The oh yeah would always be solid. I'm there for a good Kool-Aid Manning. I would like to try that one time in my life. You know, now they have everything like you can go like drive a tank and crush cars or something like that. They should just have a wall where you can like Kool-Aid Man it. Like you put on the
Yeah,
Kool-Aid Man joint and you get to bust through a wall.
yeah, they should have that,
Imagine
man.
if they had that in a bar, dude. That would be so popular in so many
In a
lawsuits.
bar like in a Dave and Buster's or some shit, you
Yeah.
know, like
You gotta pay
that.
like $50, but they film it and everything.
Yeah, yeah.
There's like
Yeah,
a
take all the
contest, like
souvenir
whoever has the
pictures.
best oh yeah of the month or something gets a gets a gift card or a t-shirt or something like that.
Free gallon of Kool-Aid.
Yeah, then you bring it back for like then you got to do the Kool-Aid Man, but like while on a riding the bull or something like that. So then
Yeah,
it starts
nice.
getting
Yeah, there you
then
go.
it starts getting a little bit more complex. Let's move on to the next stop on the award tour. Favorite quote or bit of dialogue from the episode. A bunch of good options in this one, I think. Soup, lead us off here, man. What tickled your fancy here?
Yeah, anyway, I like the whole thing. I'm gonna go with the quote because it's hard to pick, so I'm gonna go with the quote where they're freaking out because of the Vicor.
How come you freaked out? Wait, say something nice about me. Like what? Fuck you.
But that was a good interaction, a good quote right there, man. So that one just stood out to me in the moment here, so we're gonna go with that.
I love that. That was actually on my short list for favorite moments. So you helped me out a lot there by
Really?
trimming it down a little bit. I was very, very tempted to go with Emma just talking to Sam about Kool-Aid manning the wall because I thought that was cool. But instead, I'm going to go with a quote just a little bit later when they're on the bus, when Annabeth starts talking about their potential trip to Canada.
I just fucking died and somehow I'm not dead and now I'm in a stolen van with strangers going to a foreign fucking country.
Hey, we're not going to a foreign country. We're into Canada.
Right.
Right over the border, my buddy, my guy. Hey, you're not my buddy,
Going over the
guy.
border for some French fries and gravy.
Oh, a little poutine and the Canadian ballet, a little shorzy, can't go wrong. Over in Canada, I thought that was a lot of fun there. Let's move on to our favorite scene or moment from the episode. For me, this was a pretty easy one, Soup. I loved everything with Vicor, but especially at the end, you think we're going to get this big epic showdown. This little girl just comes up so unassuming, and then bam, Zoe just gets him in the eyes with the tentacle, rips his head off, gets covered in blood, and then just waves to her grandpops like, "Oh, hi, I found him." I loved that, dude. That was
That
one of
was a
my
great
favorite
scene,
moments of
dude.
the entire show. Just how nonchalantly, she's so small. I love just the juxtaposition of that, right? This crazy big dude and just this little girl handles him like nothing. And then she's all sunshine and rainbows, just dripping in blood from head to toe. Absolutely loved everything about that. So that one was easy. What do you got here as kind of your favorite scene or moment?
Okay. That was on my list of possible scenes or moments too. I agree 100% with you on that one, man. Excellent choice, dude. Excellent choice. I'm taking it back to like the beginning part of the episode, man. I really liked the Sam busting through the wall and shit, and like that whole escape scene and him being like, "Whoa, you guys are all just randomly right here, man. I thought it'd be way harder to find you." I mean, that was just a cool. That was a very cool fucking interaction and scene right there. And then it's like, I found the van, but I don't drive, and like everybody just looking like in shock, and Jordan's like, "I got it." That's great. Like the whole scene was really cool,
No, I thought
man.
that was perfect, dude. Again, because it was probably a little sloppy for them to escape that easily, but the fact they lampshaded it so well with comedy made me not care because it was just so much fun. And it happened so quick, they just kind of ran right through it. And that is perfect, dude. Like for better or worse, we had a lot of overlap here, but we got to use all of our favorite stuff. So that shaped up very well. Let's move on to the rankings.
Then what?
Well, then you move up the rankings, and I cannot overemphasize the importance of the rankings.
Soup, I'll let you lead us off here. Every episode, we rank our favorite 5 characters from 1 to 5, 1 being the best, 5 being the worst, but still being in our top 5 characters for the episode. And then we've assigned a point system here. So every episode, number 1 gets 5 points, number 2 gets 4 points, all the way down to number 5 getting 1 point. On the season, Soup, your leaders are Marie up top with 15 points. Cypher is in second with 12 points. You have a tie for third between Jordan and Emma with 10 points. And then Kate is in fifth with 8 points. So go ahead here. Give us your top 5 rankings for cooking lessons.
All right. Well, for cooking lessons here, man, we're going to go ahead and give number 5 to Annabeth, man. Way to step up and kind of like introduce yourself as a character now. I feel like she's part of the crew now, you know. So welcome, Annabeth. Cool. And then yeah, man, and then cool. Sam's at number 4. Definitely like where he's going, man. He was very cool this episode. And had a good bit of dialogue and definitely came through clutch situations, man. So good for him, and I'm glad to have him having a good episode here, you know. So anyway, he's got number 4, man. Number three is going to Zoe, man. She was awesome. Maybe even should have put her a little bit higher, but anyway, she's getting 3. Just awesome, fucking nice surprise to see her, you know. Another character from the boys comes up huge, man, and definitely had one of the best scenes of the entire season thus far. So, or, you know, the whole series thus far. So congrats on that one as well. Number 2 goes to Marie, just because she is fucking Marie, dude. I mean, hard to not keep her out of the top couple every episode. Anyway, she gets number 2 for many reasons, especially the camaraderie. The camaraderie really stood out for me this episode, because it was like, you know, I'm only going if they're coming with me, man, you know. So you know, sticking together thing with the crew.
Who's
I like that.
coming with me?
Loyalty, man. That's all I want to know, dude. Who's coming, man? Number 1, Stan Edgar, dude, because he wanted to know who's coming, man. It was a nice surprise seeing him. I think he pulled a lot of strings to, you know, he's kind of like puppet mastering himself a little bit here, probably, you know, to figure out things. And I think, you know, anyway, it was a good twist, and it launched, it's kind of like a catalyst or a catapult or whatever, man, into like the next level of the show right here. Like,
Stan Edgar, you know, you're bringing in the big guns here. This is definitely a big setup for the stretch run. We're going to have a lot of overlap between us, but the Soup went with Annabeth at 5, Sam at 4, Zoe at 3, Maria at 2, Stan Edgar at 1. On the season so far, Emma's in the lead for me with 17 points. Maria's in second with 16. Cypher's in third with 12. Jordan is in fourth with 9. And then bringing up the rear at 5 with 5 points is my guy, Dognut. Waiting to see him before the season ends. He's still out there. I have a lot of faith. He's going to come back, earn himself some more points. Getting into my top 5, at 5, I'm going with Stan Edgar. I wanted to put him higher, but I have him and Zoe on here, so I didn't want to go too nuts with kind of the guest stars overshadowing everybody a little bit. So I tried to kind of temper my expectations a little bit, especially because I'm expecting big things from Stan Edgar going forward. At number 4, same as Soup, Sam. As soon as he did the Kool-Aid guy thing, I'm like, all right, well, he's making the rankings.
Done the list,
and then he had kind of some solid moments after that. So pretty easy to put him at 4. You know, again, I don't know if I could have put him higher than this, just kind of based off the one big moment and a couple of smaller moments, but that one big moment was pretty awesome. At 3, I'm still putting Emma in here. Get some very solid lines. Again, she gets to kind of, you know, get these good comedic moments, but also still kind of some emotionally based moments in her interactions with Sam. I thought all of that was well done. Continues to maybe be my favorite character on the season. At 2, much like Soup, I feel like I have to put Marie there. She was, you know, kind of the heart and soul of both the episode, the series, and even the show. She's really asserted herself. I know it's an ensemble, but she's really doing a lot of work carrying everything here. You know, she's got to do the action scenes, the emotional stuff. I thought she did a great job with it. And at 1, I'm going with Zoe, dude. That scene was so good. Again, one of my just favorite scenes from the boys. One of the best kills. I loved her just attitude. everything about it. And then even a little bit later on, when she gets to have a couple of other scenes in the bunker, I thought she was great. Really enjoyed the scene with her and Annabeth. So Zoe's taking it. Number 1 for me. Marie was 2, Emma 3, Sam 4, Stan Edgar at number 5. And we're doing a school thing here, so we're not quite to the predictions yet. We still got to hand out our grades. We grade every episode of The Boys and Gen V on a scale of 0 to 100 Vault coins. Soup, so far you've gone 90, 88, 92, 93, 93. Are you getting your triplicate patch here? Are you rolling a third straight 93? Or what do you got for us? Spend a couple coin here.
I don't think I'm going to go for the hat trick here. No, I think we're gonna go a little bit lower to 92. Although I did love this episode, man. I think it fits right there in 92 though, man, So there was a surprise element. It was a lot to take in, man. I know I've already said that, but it was almost like an overload of information, which is great. I love that. But yeah, not that I think it's any less than last episode, but I do think it was 90. Yeah, other than a point, 92. In
other words, yeah, we would all be happy if you're at least most of us, you're bringing home the paper. There's not much appreciable difference between the 92 and the 93 there for most of us. So far, I've gone 84 coin, 86, 85, 90, 93. Much like you, I'm going to come down just a touch, but not too far. I'm going to go with 90 Vault coin here. Very, very solid episode. Doing a good job of not only setting up the final 2 episodes of the season, but the 5th season of The Boys. So no complaints overall. Soup's at 92. I'm at 90. Very high, but with room to grow here for the final 2 episodes of the season. And that's the final order of business. We get to make a couple predictions, lay out some theories, speculate, some wild ass guesses, whatever the hell we want here. Soup, kind of, we talked about it a little bit here. Like, what do you think is the deal is with Annabeth's powers? Like, do you think we're ever going to get to the point where she can, like, really accurately predict shit? Or is it always just going to kind of be like she can sense, like, oh, somebody's almost here, or this is about to happen, or whatever?
I think it'll advance. I think it'll definitely advance, man. I think she's going to expand her powers and knowledge of her powers and be able to use them in a lot of different ways, like moving forward. That would be my expectations for that character for sure.
And we're not sure how she got her powers. Do you think it's more likely that this was something like deliberately done, her parents were experimented on? Or do you think this was legitimately an accident that nobody at Project Odessa ever even thought was possible, so that's why no one knows about her?
Maybe, and she might even be more important than Maria, in the long run.
That's what I'm saying. Kind of how like Ryan was like the first natural born Soup. You know what I mean? What if it's the same kind of thing for her?
Yeah. I like where that's going. Yeah, I think I would not be surprised at all if it was going somewhere in that direction.
That's what I think. I think there's got to be another reveal with Annabeth somehow. And if it's not going to be her, like, involved in this, then I think it has to be with her kind of coming into her powers and realizing, like, holy shit, like, she's got to be, like, almost as powerful as Marie, maybe. You know what I mean? And then maybe it's one of those two things. They're like the yin and the yang, right? You put them together, and then together they are, like, all powerful or something. I don't know.
Peas and carrots. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it feels like they're building that up a little bit. It also feels like they're definitely trying to, reconcile Sam and Emma here. Do you think that's going to happen? I mean, do you think by the end of the season, do they actually get back together? Do they at least hook up again? You think we're going to get anything like that here?
Barring something really fucked up happening, which might, you never know. I think it's a possibility for sure. Seems like it could be.
Are Sam and Greg going to have a fight over Emma at some point?
I feel like something's going to happen there too, man. It might be a fight over Emma.
And they can both fly, dude. That actually could set up some opportunities, right?
Yeah, there is that.
Kind of expensive, but
Greg might actually be a villain. He might have been a snitch.
I think he could be man on the inside too. I think he could be working with Cypher or something, or for Vaughn or Homelander.
There could be a bit of a storyline there, and there's definitely going to be an interaction. I would be kind of disappointed if there wasn't, because they brought that up for a reason. So
It would kill me, but I could see him doing one of those things where it turns out that he was kind of like a double agent or whatever, and then Sam winds up like fighting with him and then kind of killing him, but not meaning to kill him. But then Emma thinks that he killed him because he was jealous or some shit. Like I hope they don't go there. I don't really like when shows do that kind of thing. So, but
Yeah,
I could
yeah.
see them doing that, right? If they kind of want to manufacture drama. So I'm hoping they don't go that way, but it wouldn't necessarily kind of shock me if they did. They set it up during the fight with Vicor, and Kate tells Emma like, "Dude, we'll just get big and squash him." She can't do it. Do you think in the final two episodes at some point she's going to manage to kind of get big on her own to defeat somebody?
I think that'd be cool. Yeah.
She kind of
Yeah, I
has
think
to, I
it'll
think,
happen.
right?
I kind of think it has to, you know.
They've kind of set it up to this point. I feel
Yeah.
like it. I'll be a little bit disappointed if she doesn't. And dude, how about the relationship between the man in the tube and Cypher? Let's just put it on the record. Do you think it is Thomas Godolkin in the tube? I mean, we've been saying this pretty much since we knew there was a man in the tube, so I'm staying with yes. I mean, I
Yeah.
guess they could try to throw a curveball in here, but
Yeah, at this point, I'm obviously being like, yeah, my only other thought was maybe that it was Cypher or maybe Godolkin is Cypher anyway. We'll find out, I'm sure, but I hope anyway. So yeah, I don't think there's any other thing it could really be.
well, what if we combined the two theories? And what if somehow, like, Thomas Godolkin really did get burned? Whoever was Cypher really did save him. But at some point, like, Godolkin tricked him. And, like, now they're switched, like they did, like, a body swap thing. So it's actually Godolkin in Cypher's
Yeah.
body, and the real Cypher's in Godolkin's body, but they somehow, like, still need each other for some reason. Like, if one dies, they both die or something like that. I don't know.
That could be okay. All right, now we're
Just trying to
getting
combine.
somewhere.
I'm trying to
That's
save the
later.
theories
Yeah.
here. You know what I mean? I'm trying to, but save our theories by combining them into one super theory, possibly.
I like it. Yeah, definitely, man. I mean, there's definitely a lot there. So
I mean, it feels like one way or the other. The fact that Cypher can control soups and Thomas Godolkin's research was about controlling soups, there's no way that can be a coincidence, right? So somehow,
yeah.
whatever Cypher is able to do must be related to what Godolkin, either discovered or researched or whatever, right? Because it's just there's no way that that's too coincidental otherwise. So that kind of leads you to the next step then. Like, all right, like say Godolkin did all this to control soups. We've seen Cypher control soups. Can he control humans? Like that probably wasn't part of the research, right? If he's not technically a soup, if all he has is some technology or ability to control soups because of the V, like could that make his actual weakness being unable to defend himself from humans?
I think that's a major possibility, dude. We have not seen him fucking be able to control a human. It's possible they can't. Maybe a human will have to be the one that stops him, So
Right, or I mean that would be the super ironic thing is somehow like someone like loses their powers, right? But then it's the fact that they lose their powers is the reason they're able to save the day.
yeah, okay, that's a nice
Yeah, I
little
mean that's
twist
that's kind of the writing 101 there. And we also got a kind of subtle name drop from Zoe when she talks about her dad. I don't know if you remember, but her dad is the dude who kept working on the virus at that farm in the episode where we had Stan Edgar. Remember Butcher chopped his leg off to make him work on the
Oh
virus?
yeah,
And then he
yeah.
escapes by injecting Kamiko with the virus in her leg. So Frenchie's sawing it off when he escapes to
Yep.
steal my sunshine. We
Yep,
never
yep.
saw him again, so he is still actually out there. Zoe thinks he's dead
What was
because
that
they
dude's
went
name, man? Fuck.
Samir.
Samir, yeah, okay.
Because they mentioned him, I feel like he's got to show up now. Either not, if not here in season 5 of The Boys. Now there's like I feel like that's 100%. There's no way she brings him up. He escaped, so I think he's got to show up again, right? I mean, there's no way he's not.
I think that's a definite, yeah, man. I would definitely bet on that. If I were a gambling man, I would put a little change on it, dude. Got
And
five
I
on.
would put a little change on Zoe having big role going forward. The way she came in here, her association with Stan Edgar, her apparent comfort with using her powers, being fairly powerful. I feel like she's, showed up again in Gen V and probably showed up in season 5 of The Boys fairly prominently, I think. And I guess one of the major questions is at the end of the episode, Kate comes up to Marie asking her to cure her. Do you think there is a chance that Marie can cure either Marie and or Polarity? Cypher offers that to Polarity. Maybe Marie can cure them. I think she probably has the ability. I think it's almost more of a question of will she? What do you think? Do you think there's a chance she cures one or both of them?
I think because of the way it's been talked about and kind of like brought up, that it's definitely a possibility. I don't know. I think working on Soups might be different than, or maybe not. I don't know. The sisters of Soup, she brought her back to life. Bringing somebody back to life and restoring somebody's powers might be a different thing too. But who knows? Maybe she's capable of both. So I wouldn't put it past her. And the way the show's going, they wouldn't be talking about it so much if it wasn't a thing. So I'm pretty sure it is. And I feel like that Kate following her, they're going to develop a little bit more of a friendship or bond, and it'll end up happening because, or at least she'll try to, or something. I mean.
Right. I'd say
Yeah,
I feel like she could like cure, kind of like because these are brain injuries, right? So it's like existing tissue. Like, do you think she could actually like help Kate regrow a new arm?
regenerate, man. I don't know. Yeah, that'd
I
be
mean, she
cool.
can control blood and cells, and I mean,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
all on the
That would
table.
be.
This is what they opened the door to, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of all on the table now.
You know what, dude? How crazy would that be if she totally, fixed her up completely back to fucking normal, and then we see that then that's Kate, the triumphant return of Kate, next episode, like,
Well, and you do the thing where you know what I mean. You kind of like rope a dope somebody too. She still acts like she can't use her powers, and she's got the bad arm, and then you get the big ass reveal. Like she reaches
yeah,
out and touch, and you think she can't like do anything because oh, that's a plastic arm, and you don't have your powers. And then like oh, want to bet?
hmm
Be a cool badass moment, right?
I think so. Yeah, there's a lot of potential here, man.
Yeah, I'm there for those badass moments, man. I think we're both really excited about the final two episodes. At this point, though, I'm really wondering if they can have a season three that looks anything like the first two seasons, because it really feels like this is just feeding directly into set up season five of The Boys. From what I've read with the showrunners, that's kind of the case. They're not legitimately sure where the universe goes after this, so I think there's a chance some of the characters could live on in a different show. But at this point, I don't really know if they can do Gen V unless they do like Gen V the next generation or something to bring in a new cast to college, maybe.
Might have to come up with a different title for it, but have like some of the characters from The Boys and Gen V. And I know they're doing the prequel too. Apparently, there's going to be the prequel, but that wouldn't be these characters, But I like these characters, so I'd like, and a lot of people do. They're very popular, so I feel like they should continue the show. Doing a prequel won't continue this show, It'll continue the universe, but you can't use these characters in that show, There's
And
no reason.
depending on the ending of The Boys, I think there's definitely a world where basically they could have almost a third show, which is basically some Gen V characters and some boys characters on like a new show, basically.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? You'd
that's
probably lose a lot of the main characters from The Boys, but you could keep probably a lot of the main characters from Gen V and a lot of the supporting characters from The Boys, and I think put that together into a pretty interesting it's a pretty interesting mix here. Before we get out of here, let's bust out the Deadpool. There's two episodes left. Just gonna bring up some characters, figure out if they'll survive the season or not. How about it's either he's Thomas Godokin, the man in the tube, whatever you want to call him. What do you think, Soup? Is he making it through season two of Gen V? I'm saying no.
um, hmm. I'm gonna, I'm going with you. I'm staying with you. I'm going no too, man.
All right, how about Stan Edgar? I feel like he's got to get another scene with Homelander. So unless Homelander's showing up, he's making it to season five of The Boys. What do you think, Stan Edgar?
I agree, 100%. Yeah.
How about Cypher? Are they setting him up to maybe kind of be the big death of the season, and maybe that's that Sage off or something like that? You think Cypher makes it out alive?
I do not.
Oh, I'm gonna go with yes, just because I like the character. I kind of
Uh,
want him to make it out, so maybe it's a little bit of wishful thinking. How about Annabeth? I think she has to at this point. She's been built up so big. I think the only way she doesn't make it is if they're going to use her death as a catalyst for Marie to go like supernova or something.
um, yeah, I guess that would be the only option, or the only option that would even make any sense. No, I think she makes it out. I think she becomes a
They
major
built her
player.
up so much; it wouldn't be
Yeah.
satisfying unless she has some kind of crazy impactful death.
Right.
Now, Polarity, on the other hand, I think we both thought he was probably checking out before the end of the season. Now you have the potential lifeline. Maybe Marie could fix him. I'm saying he still doesn't make it. Like, I'm saying even maybe she fixes him and he still doesn't make it. What do you think? Could Polarity make it out alive?
I think now given the new shit here, privy to the new shit here, man. I think it's definitely more of a possibility than I thought going into the season or even a week ago or. But I'm still gonna go with no because I think that's kind of more of a plot point there.
Yeah, and you got to have a couple deaths here, right? I mean, this is
Yeah.
kind of one of those shows where, for better or worse, a couple people got to die. And now we're kind of into the main cast here. Of the main cast, I think we both thought that maybe Kate was the most likely to buy it. You still think that's the case, or you think she's going to make it?
I feel like she's gonna make it now.
I do too, for some reason. How about Sam? He's actually my creeper one. I feel like we got to lose one of the main cast, and I feel like he is going to die in some kind of a moment of redemption to save Emma or something like that. So I'm going Sam is our big kind of hero death of the season.
That's a good. That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good guess there, man. Shit.
Well, I mean, he wants. He's talking so much about redeeming himself, being his best self. I'm just kind of trying to put two and two together. Plus, it's so tough to figure out how powerful he is, and what's just another kind of flying strong guy. I don't know. I could just kind of see it happening, especially if that's what kind of like takes Emma to the next level or something, maybe.
All right, I got you on that one. I'm thinking maybe Jordan then.
Okay, I think. Well, if you want to talk about like setting off a nuclear bomb for Marie, it's
Yeah.
either Jordan or Annabeth. So I like that. I think Jordan probably makes it, but I could see.
For whatever reason, Marie can't save Jordan, and that's gonna really make her, kind of
Oh,
lean into
shit, dude.
everything.
Well, they probably have to do the thing, right? What if they make Marie choose? Like it's Jordan or Annabeth.
Oh fuck yeah,
I mean, that's a
yeah,
pretty classic trope, right? Like the Superman thing, right? Like who are you gonna do? You know what I mean? Are you gonna save Jimmy Olsen or Lois Lane or whatever? You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Or your parents or Lois Lane or whatever it is. Either way, Superman usually finds a way, but Cypher is that kind of dude, right? What if it was like that's to push Marie to the final level?
yeah,
Could you see something like that, right? All right.
absolutely.
And then the final two are Emma and Marie. I don't think there's any way. The only way they could kill Marie is if it's to make Annabeth into like the super soup. I think that's the only possible way. And Marie and Emma's just too good of a character. She's just too much fun. There's no way they're killing her.
Yeah, yeah.
You never kill the comic relief. She's more the comic relief too, but you know what I mean. But like she's that. I think she's kind of the breakout character of the show a little bit. So
I agree, man. She's been awesome this season, dude.
Yeah, and she's been good in both the comedy and the drama stuff, but she's just a ton of fun, whether she's the little cricket or the big one. I think that about does it, man. Kind of crazy that there are only 2 episodes left of the season. That's kind of the gift in the curse of the big 3 episode drop when you've only got 8. We will be here to cover both of the remaining episodes here on Compound B, a show about the boys. Thanks again for checking us out. We are presented by Regular Dudes Watch Stuff. You can find our content wherever you get your pods and on YouTube. Find us on social media at Dudes Watch Stuff and on the web at dudeswatchstuff.com. Simple, easy to remember, just like the flaps, FLAPS. Very crucial to our success. Follow, like, and please subscribe. If you had fun, please hit the thumb. I'm Magnum Mills with the Soupdeucer, who's going to get us out of here by telling us this week what the B in Compound B stands for.
This week, the B in Compound B stands for Breakfast Club.
Don't you forget about me. Don't you forget about